Moral courage. That's the theme for the strategy memo, with a question from Mike in Albuquerque, New Mexico. He asks, Dear Mr. Tafel, I hear that Dietrich Bonhoeffer was a cousin of yours. What did you learn from his example about moral courage? What is moral courage, and what strategies can we use to get more of it? First of all, yes, I am related to Dietrich Bonhoeffer, and I think for most people listening to this, they probably don't know who he is, so let me explain who Dietrich Bonhoeffer is. Dietrich Bonhoeffer was a Lutheran minister in Germany during the Second World War who actually organized the church in opposition to Hitler's rise to power, spoke out against it, preached against it, and he actually created a church in opposition to Nazism. And he took that a step further by deciding that he couldn't just be a pacifist and quietly stand by and organize against Hitler. He needed to take a more active role, and he actually contributed to the assassination attempts on Hitler's life. This led to his arrest and finally to his execution a month before the Allies liberated the death camp that he was in. Bonhoeffer was definitely a role model for me. In fact, in my 1999 book Party Crasher, one reviewer pointed out that I had quoted my connection to Bonhoeffer 5 times, and the reviewer pointed it out at the end, said, I understand that you've had some struggles, Mr. Tafel, but the comparison to Bonhoeffer is ridiculous. So that's who Bonhoeffer is. You can see it definitely had an impact on me. And your next question is, what is moral courage? Moral courage for me is the willingness to fight injustice no matter what the consequences. In my study of Bonhoeffer's life, I would boil down to 4 things, 4 aspects that make up moral courage. These 4 would include faith in God, a humility that's gained through self-awareness, a clarity between good and evil, and then the willingness to sacrifice and take action to bring about justice. So you also ask, how do we develop strategies to develop moral courage? And I'd say if there's just one thing that I could recommend, it would be to take action. It is not, moral courage does not take place in the mind. It takes place in the world, and it takes place confronting injustice. And I think that's the hardest thing, particularly in American culture, to do, is to sacrifice. The 4th step of those 4 attributes I talked about was sacrifice. I think we are very comfortable with security and conformity, and the idea of being ridiculed, being unpopular, being criticized really scares the hell out of us. And when I look at most of the people who have shown moral courage, it's worse than that. Many of them paid with their lives. So I would encourage you to take action and overcome the fear of sacrificing for the cause. Finally, I think to be inspired to live a morally courageous life, we can look to heroes who have accomplished that, like Dietrich Bonhoeffer, and listen to their struggles and listen to their lives and learn from them. And so I'm going to leave with some quotes from some people who have inspired me.
Who am I? They mock me, these lonely questions of mine. Whoever I am, you know me. Oh God, you know I'm yours.
Some difficult days ahead, but it really doesn't matter with me now because I've been to the mountaintop. I don't mind. Like anybody, I would like to live a long life. Longevity has its place. But I'm not concerned about that now. I just want to do God's will. And He's allowed me to go up to the mountain.
I'm going to leave you with a quote from Robert F. Kennedy when he spoke to the University of South Africa in 1966.
One man come here to justify. One man